learn is actually so important. It can have an enormous impact on our lives because it touches basically everything that we do. And learning how to learn is one of those meta skills that works like a productivity multiplier in our lives. But no one ever really teaches us how to learn. And most of us just spend our entire lives stuck without really knowing how to learn. And I felt like before I went to Harvard, I could just get by the way that I was studying before. And I used to spend all my time reading the textbook and making 100+ pages of summary notes from the lectures and textbook. But things got real when I got to Harvard because it felt like I was a small fish in a big pond full of academic weapons. And if I wanted to get good grades there, I had to level up and learn how to study better so I could keep up with the enormous amount of coursework and readings. And I learned a lot on my own journey to become a more effective student so I could have a life outside school. And getting perfect grades doesn't have to be that complicated. And that's why in this video, I'm gonna share with you the tips on how to study effectively that I learned at Harvard. So if you want to learn how to get straight A's effortlessly, you're in the right place. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Karina. Welcome to my channel, where I share study hacks, productivity tips, and practical frameworks to help you to elevate your life through education. Tip number 1, work in flow state instead of multitasking. We have all been guilty of trying to multitask when we study, because we might be under the impression that it's a productivity booster. Like if we're watching your lectures while also doing your study notes, could actually help you to learn faster. But according to a study from the University of Oregon, chronic multitaskers actually have a harder time focusing their attention and have worse memories than those who perform monotasking. And that's because multitasking can lead to a decrease in the brain's ability to fully focus on new tasks, which is essential for learning and growth. A study by Kevin Palmador, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, found that attempts to multitask can create interference among the brain networking dealing with attention and cognitive control, leading to slower processing and mistakes. This can also result in attention lapses and forgetfulness, which can negatively impact both your working memory and your long-term memory. So instead of multitasking, focus on doing one thing at a time to get into a flow state. A flow state is when you're so laser focused doing something that everything around you just disappear and you just lose track of time and space because you're just so into whatever you're doing. And the concept of a flow state originates from positive psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and Jay Nakamura, who popularized the term in the 1970s. Every high-performing student that I know enters in a flow state when they study. And you can actually train yourself to reach this flow state. And the first thing you need to do is to find a quiet space and clear away all your distractions. And yes, that includes your phone and any sort of desktop notifications or anything else that might pop up, make any noise, and distract you in the middle of your thoughts. And the more you train yourself to be in a flow state, the easier it's gonna be to keep going. Imagine if you could just actively turn on this level of focus as easily as flicking a switch every time that you just need to sit down to study. So start working on getting into a flow state today, because that's something that will come more often as you practice. Tip number 2, focus on your weak links. Humans are wired for comfort. So even when we find enough motivation to study, it's easy to slip into the subjects or topics that we're most comfortable with. But the subjects that we're most comfortable with are also usually the topics that we know best. So we just end up avoiding touching the subjects or topics that we actually need to study the most. Because it's easier to study something that we already know than to struggle to understand something that we don't. But if you're not doing something that is challenging, you're not learning anything new. So if you want to maximize your study time, instead of doing the easy work, focus on your weakest subjects first. And if you don't know what that subject is for you, you can find out by just asking yourself a simple question. If my exam was tomorrow, what question would I be most scared of answering? And use your answer as a guide for you to dive deeper into your weakest link first. And to make studying your weak links easier, you're going to have to eat that frog. And eating that frog actually refers to a time management strategy that helps you to prioritize your tasks by focusing on the most important and most difficult tasks first. It comes from a quote from Mark Twain, which says that if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. And this quote is essentially telling us to focus on the most difficult things first, because most of the times, the things that you're avoiding the most are also usually the things that you need to do the most. For example, let's say that you have a 2,000 word essay due tomorrow, but you also have a bunch of smaller tests that you need to do. like homework, reading, quizzes. So instead of doing the easy tasks first, because they're faster to get done, start with the most challenging task of the day first. And in this case, you should start with your big 2,000-word essay first. And once you've completed that, you're gonna feel a sense of accomplishment and motivation to tackle the smaller tasks later. And for me, once I get the hardest things out of my way, I feel a sense of momentum, and because I have already done the most challenging thing of the day, the rest of the day goes much more smoothly as a result. So if you want to learn more about how to get started on eating that frog, Brian Tracy wrote a whole book that is called Eat That Frog, which I highly recommend. So check it out. Tip number 3, consume less and do more. You're probably wasting a lot of your time highlighting your textbooks, rewatching your lectures, and reading through your notes over and over again. And I've been there too. But consuming the same content over and over again only makes you familiar with the material. But getting familiar with the material doesn't really mean that you understand it. And here there's a big difference between recognition and recollection. And many times when you're just rereading a chapter over and over again, you're just deluding yourself into thinking that you remember this information when you're actually just recognizing what is in front of you, which means you're not really recollecting any of it. That means that if someone asks you a question about the material that you just revised, you're probably gonna have a vague memory about it, but you're not gonna really know how to answer the question or explain what you just learned in detail. So instead of wasting your time consuming more content, you're gonna start using active recall to learn faster. Active recall involves actively retrieving the information from memory to strengthen your memory pathways and enhance your long-term retention by putting what you've learned into practice. And that means instead of rereading your textbook over and over again, you're gonna take practice exercises to test your knowledge to try to actively recall that information. And bonus if you're testing your knowledge with past exam papers, because most likely than not, your professors probably use similar questions in all their exams. So when you're testing yourself with a past exam, you're actually getting familiar with the exam format and proactively preparing for your exams and identifying areas where you need additional study. Number 4, end procrastination with time boxing. If you're anything like me, you have probably procrastinated writing that 1,000-word essay to the very last hours before it's due. It's just torturous, but somehow we always get it done. And that's thanks to a concept called the Parkinson's Law, which states that our work tends to expand to fill the time allocated to its completion. And the same goes to studying. If we only have 2 hours to write an essay, we will write that essay in just 2 hours. And if we have 5 hours to write that same essay, we will take the full 5 hours to write the same essay. So to get over your procrastination and stop letting Parkinson's Law to take over your days, you can use time boxing to get things done more efficiently. And time boxing is a productivity technique that involves limiting the amount of time that you dedicate to a specific task. It forces you to work efficiently and build the mental muscles required for deep work. To use time boxing to stop procrastination and start studying, you can follow those easy steps. First, you're going to identify the most important tasks and prioritize 3 to 5 most important and urgent responsibilities of the day. Then you're going to estimate the time needed to complete it. Realistically, estimate how much time each task should take. And schedule your time box accordingly. That means allocating specific time blocks in your calendar for each single task that is a priority for your day. And by using this time box to structure your study sessions, you can create a more focused and productive study environment to help you to overcome procrastination and achieve your academic goals. So instead of wasting your time, try to set deadlines for yourself so you can study more productively with time constraints on your side. Worst case scenario, if you have underestimated how long something should take and you're not done with that task within its allocated time box, you can always extend it after. Next tip is using primacy and recency in your favor. So primacy and recency are concepts that are often discussed in psychology, particularly in the context of memory and persuasion. So primacy refers to the tendency of individuals to better remember the information that is presented first. That means that when people encounter a list of items or information, those presented at the beginning, so primacy, are most likely to be remembered compared to those presented in the middle or the end. On the other hand, the recency effect is the tendency for individuals to better remember the information that is presented last. So when people encounter a list of items or information, those presented at the end, and hence recency, are more likely to be remembered compared to those presented earlier in the list. That means that if you study for 5 hours straight without any breaks, you're most likely going to remember what you studied in the beginning and at the end of your study session, which leaves a lot of time and a lot of gap in between. So what you want to do is to use primacy and recency to your advantage by taking breaks to create more beginning and end points to recall more of what you studied using the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method developed by Francisco Cirillo in the late 1980s. It's a simple and yet powerful technique that involves breaking your work into focused intervals that are typically 25 minutes long, separated by short 5-minute breaks. The name Pomodoro comes from the Italian word tomato, which was inspired by the tomato-shaped kitchen timer that Cirillo used during his university days. Studies have actually shown that our brains can only maintain high levels of focus for a limited amount of time before needing a break. And by working in short, focused bursts, followed by brief rest periods, the Pomodoro technique leverages our natural brain rhythms to optimize productivity and concentration. And to follow the Pomodoro technique, you're gonna need to set a timer for 25 minutes and study without any distractions until the timer goes off, followed by a 5-minute break. I personally like taking this time to stretch my legs, going to the bathroom, and making me a nice cup of green tea, but you can do whatever you want to relax and get ready for your next study session. But while the Pomodoro technique works great, in my personal experience, the optimal duration of intervals may vary a lot between people. For me, only 25 minutes of work seems too short, especially if I'm studying a topic that I really enjoy. So when I'm actually studying something that I like, I usually go for longer stretches without needing a break. So I usually set study intervals of around 80 minutes, followed by a 10-minute break. But if it's a subject that I find boring or difficult, I do tend to just go for the traditional 25 minutes of deep work, followed by a 5-minute break, because it makes it less mentally taxing to do something hard by reminding myself that it's only for 25 minutes. So play around and try out different time intervals to see what works best for you. Next tip, turn your distractions into rewards. There's so many distractions around us that it's very easy to get carried away scrolling through Instagram, watching Netflix, browsing through TikTok. So instead of getting carried away with all our distractions, treat distractions as incentives to stay focused by using your distractions as a reward for completing a specific study task. And to do that, you're first going to need to define specific study goals and tie distractions to achieving these goals. For example, only allow yourself to indulge in one episode of Friends after you complete your chemistry quiz. And don't forget to allocate specific time slots for your distractions within your study routine, so you don't just end up scrolling through TikTok for the next 2 hours. This way, distractions become planned rewards rather than interruptions to your study routine. And by incorporating the science-based study strategies into your own learning process, can help you to learn smarter and not harder. And if you use any of those study techniques to help you to learn faster and more effectively, let me know in the comments. I always love to learn more ways to become a better learner, and your ideas might also help other people too. Just remember that studying is a very personal thing. So find out what works best for you and keep making small improvements to become a better learner. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more educational content and study tips. And if you'd like to supercharge your learning and earning potential with a degree from a top university, you can check out some resources I made available for you in the video description. And don't forget that the more you learn, the more you can achieve. So stay inspired, stay motivated, and I'll see you in my next video.